Good morning. This is Tim Stewart, ball guy number one of, let's see if I get it in here, there it is, two ball guys and a microphone. We're backwards, but you can look at it in the mirror and see it all perfectly straight. I want to talk this morning about being programmed for success. Each and every one of us has been programmed for success. That is, if you're sitting there and you are potty trained. You see, what happened during that time in our life was the 5 steps necessary for success were programmed into our subconscious. It's there. We just need to go back to it. Now, what are those 5 steps? Number 1, you must have a specific target. If you're going to be successful, you have to know what you're going, and you have to know what it means when you get there. Number 2, you must have a mentor, coach, a guide, someone who can help you achieve that target but isn't going to do it for you. Number 3, you must celebrate your successes. Number 4, you must let your failures just kind of roll on down your leg. And number 5, you must be consistent in your efforts. Now, if we'll do that, we will achieve the success that we know how to do. Unfortunately, most of us who are in business today, whether we work for someone else or work for ourselves, we don't stick to those 5 principles. Number 1, we don't have a specific target. We don't know where we're going. Zig Ziglar used to call it a wandering generality. You're just kind of going out there picking up cans for the recycle bin. You're going to make a little money. You're probably going to keep food on the table, but you're not going to get to that place where you can be, where you deserve to be. Number 2, having a mentor who has accomplished your goal or in some way, shape, or form to help guide you through it. We think, especially entrepreneurs, we get into business and we are the top of the food chain. Everything falls on us. And we have a tendency to take all that responsibility on ourselves. And what do? Well, we do the paperwork, we do the sales, we do the product, whatever it is. We try to do it all, and we're not capable of that. We need to have a mentor who's achieved it so that they can guide us through. Take these things and farm them out. Hire this person to do that so you can do what you're strong at. And one of the points in my life, they call it $10 task versus $100 task. A $10 task is sorting papers, is filing, is stapling, is maybe uploading videos to YouTube. These are something you can pay someone to do. A $100 task is creating new material, presenting the material, selling your product or service, whatever it is. Stick to the $100 task, the profit-producing activity, income-producing activities, IPAs. You can still do those other things, but don't do them at a time when profit is sitting out there waiting for you. If you need to do them at 2 o'clock in the morning, then so be it if you're not willing to hire someone else to do it. However, understand that lack of sleep is going to affect you just as much. Number 3, celebrate your successes. When you've had some success, pat yourself on the back. It's okay, because that's going to keep you moving forward. Number 4, you got to let your failures roll off. I watched the Whitney Young Simeon State Championship game the other day. Simeon has pretty much owned this, especially this particular year. They've owned this rivalry. Simeon won the 2 games this year, and over time they've won most of the games. But in the state championship, Whitney Young won. And when the coach was being interviewed afterwards, he said, I learned a lot from those losses that put me in a position to be ready to win. Right? Your failures kind of got to roll off. You can't get wrapped up in them. You have to learn from them so you don't repeat them. You don't do them over and over again. Einstein says insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. I say insanity is doing something that works and not doing it again. And so often we do that. We find something that works, and it might not work as good the second time, so we stop. Finally, we must be consistent in our efforts. Stephen Covey says 21 days to create a habit. Over the course, I've heard people say 40 days, 7 days. There's a lot of different numbers on there. Maybe it's because we're each unique individuals. But if we want to do something, we must be consistent in our efforts. If we found out that something's working, we need to continue to work with it and do it time after time after time after time. You're programmed for success. You've been programmed since body training. If you've done a thing once, you can do it again. I'm thinking you probably did it again somewhere along the line. Now, whatever situation you're in today, take a look back at your life, reflect a little bit on who you are and what you've done, and get out there and do it again. Now get off the bench, get back in the game. This is Coach Papa, and I do approve this message.